Hello there. Happy Monday. I'm here at the fuel island. I just did my pit stop, all hooked up and ready to go. I wasn't talking to you from in front of the windmills because there was a whole pile of guys there getting ready to leave, and I was going to be in their way with my car, so I just came up here instead. They're probably going to be piling up behind me to use the porta potty in a minute too. So I will just quickly say two ideas. One is the idea of expecting miracles, of expecting manifesting to happen in a way that's powerfully good. As Robert would say, flying in the direction of your goals and your dreams. The other idea is that when you meet resistance, it's usually with yourself. So the default, when you're trying to wake up in the morning and start in a positive direction, the default is self-sabotage. And you're not even aware that it's you that you're fighting, but you start to get into this mode of negative thinking, of why things aren't going to go well, of why people don't like you, why you don't expect things to go in a great way, in a great direction. And then you don't realize that it's you. Those thoughts, those voices in your head are your own voices.
Please drive to highlighted route.
So the best way to overcome that and to get your expectations going in a good direction is to face yourself squarely, to face the subconscious mind that starts off trying to protect you from expecting new things that the subconscious isn't comfortable with. I was just talking to Sarah in the dispatch office, and she is relentlessly chipper in the morning, and she almost felt the need to apologize for that. But I think that's what it takes. I think we have to be relentlessly positive with ourselves, reminding ourselves of all the good things that we believe when we're wide awake and established and have had a couple of cups of coffee and are ready to go. That battle happens for me sometimes even before I wake up. I feel like I've got to wage war with myself to get going in a positive direction. I have a feeling it's because my soul's been alive so long and it has some kind of bad habits, and it may take a while. Maybe, a few more minutes. I don't know how long things can take. I believe usually that things can be much faster than we typically think they will be, if we can get our expectations going in the right direction. So let's go on through this week of good faith, expecting good things, relentlessly expecting good things. Trying to get a good look at the moon, which is immense this morning. So wanting something is different than expecting something. A lot of people say, I wish, I hope, and they're wanting something to happen, but they don't really expect it to happen. It's like the people who say, don't get your hopes up and then you won't be disappointed. But that's the opposite of good manifesting, where you expect a miracle. And at the same time, you don't give a shit. So that full moon is still pulling on all of us, even though we can't see it at the moment. So what's the answer to self-sabotage? We've all done it. We all probably still do it on occasion. It happens often when there are crises or big challenges that turn into crises needlessly. I've I've been thinking about what to do when a potential crisis presents itself. Because in the right frame of mind, I know that it isn't a crisis at all. It's a challenge that I can rise to and score points off of and use it as a wave or an air current to sail onto. And all that happens when I'm in the right frame of mind, when I'm in the right energy. Huge challenges become child's play when I'm in the right frame. So I'm thinking, when I sabotage myself, my self-conscious inner child is afraid, and fear and the need for familiarity, both together, cause a lot of the problems I face on a daily basis. Especially when I'm first starting out, I haven't had much coffee yet, or it's in the middle of the night and I'm sleeping a more normal schedule. If I'm going to sleep till 6 or 7 in the morning on a weekend, it's about 2 a.m. when I feel the knock on the door or the pounding on the door saying, hey, you should worry about this. This is really a potential problem that we think we should bring to your attention at 2 a.m. And it feels like a whole committee of voices in my head are trying to tell me their opinions about why I should worry about whatever problem they're presenting. I've already shared with you some of the problems or crises I've faced, and with each of them, that's how it feels. It feels like there's a committee of scared bean counter, or I don't know, bureaucrats, I guess. Nobody with any balls, nobody with any courage. And so then I think to myself, why do I have to face this now? Why can't we just sleep? And why do I feel so vulnerable to these sorts of attacks? And yes, they feel like attacks. And it doesn't help that I'm attacking myself. That sabotage comes, and it doesn't feel like anybody who cares about me or loves me. I'm thinking to myself, why? Why don't you love me? Why don't you care about me? Why do we have to deal with this? And the answer, once I figure out who it is, once I figure it out that it's myself, the answer always is, we're so afraid. We're terrified. This seems like such a daunting problem, and we just couldn't sleep. And it kind of reminds me of the Inside Out movie, the Pixar movie, where you have varying emotions steering a little girl who's going through a crisis in her life. And that's what it feels like. It feels like the wrong person is steering. The wrong person is sitting at the control panel. And so I've been thinking, when I have the right frame of mind, it's because the right kind of person is steering. And I do believe there are options, just like in that movie. Disgust, fear, anger, sadness, joy, plus a lot of others. Vie for control. And rather than just put an emotion at the controls, I would rather put a personality. I have expectations for how I'm going to be treated by other people, and I want to have expectations, similar ones, for how I treat myself. And I've already shared with you that when a veteran teacher is in front of a bunch of squirrely 6th graders, they don't try you that much. But when a novice teacher is in front of them, they try everything to see what might work. And so I'm trying to think, who can I put at the controls who will handle crises well? potential problems at 2 a.m.? Who's going to handle things without sabotaging the whole operation? So I think joy in the movie was good, but I would rather put somebody who has attributes besides just joy. I'd rather put a joyful person who has authority, like a veteran teacher. So I was thinking, for my control room, the main captain's seat where Captain Kirk sits, I want somebody like that. I want a king, a kingly person, or a starship captain. Take your pick. When a king walks into a room, a good king, not a novice king, not a child king, but an established king. When a king walks into the room, people defer, people listen, people pay attention, people obey. And for the other voices in my head, I want somebody like that in charge. So when they're scrambling around and trying to panic, there's a calm and sure hand at the helm saying, calm down, listen, obey, and you'll be fine. I don't want a committee. I want one person, and I'm going to call my person the king. And you can call your person whatever you like. If you want some kind of monarch, that's fine, or some kind of sea captain or airline captain, somebody who's used to taking charge and who listens to other opinions but still ends up making the decision alone. So the king, when the king is at the controls, at the helm, the other voices in my head listen, and they're calm and quiet. And it takes me a while, at least a cup of coffee into the day, but when the king is established and everyone else knows that the king is in charge, the day goes smoothly. And anything that looked like a challenge before that looks like child's play after that. That's how much of a difference that kind of a strong leader can have in my life. Some of the scariest things I face are just nothing when the king is in charge. I've been doing it like that for a few days, and I'm going to keep going a few more days, and I'll let you know how it goes. And it isn't just for crises. It's for that expecting thing, for that dream casting, vision casting, manifesting. When a king expects something to happen, it happens. So if there is a king steering my subconscious mind, and my subconscious mind is powerful when it comes to manifesting, when it isn't afraid. So I figure if I put a king in charge, then I ought to be able to manifest better. So I'll keep you posted how that works out as well. So Murphy's Law says, nothing is as easy as it looks. Everything takes longer than you expect. If anything can go wrong, it will go wrong, and at the worst possible moment. Now that is what happens when your subconscious is fighting you. So if you are subject to Murphy's Law, you may not have realized it, but you're subject to the whims of your own subconscious. We always thought we were Murphy, right? But it's not Murphy's fault. He just made an observation of how things actually work in the world. So I'm here. I've got to get on the road. I didn't realize you were watching me there for a second. But I will. I saw Murphy's Law on the driver's room door, or on the wall. It was on the wall in the driver's room. So I took a picture of it. I'll show you the picture. I already showed you the picture, I'm sure. And we'll see what else we have to say about Murphy's Law, because it fits exactly with what we were talking about earlier. I don't know what your opinion is about Murphy's Law, but as I've grown up and talked about it with other people, it seems to be almost universally accepted as that's how life works. And so, just for the sake of discussion, and nobody's really arguing with me in the comments, so I'm just gonna use this as a bully pulpit and say Murphy's Law is real, it is how things work, and here's why. And I already told you it's the subconscious mind run amok. So I was telling you earlier that I've put a king in charge of my whole mind. I don't know what he's called. Genghis Khan, maybe, I don't know. Or Solomon. That's a pretty good king. Let me know in the comments if you have a good king name. So he's in charge, and he's there to make sure that we don't have to knock on wood all the time, because knocking on wood is another corollary of Murphy's Law. And the reason we have to do it, the reason we're always waiting for the other shoe to drop, is because we sabotage ourselves because we're afraid of success. We're afraid of a smooth life, and probably it's not even that good for us. So maybe our subconscious knows what's best for us when it sabotages us. I mean, if it's afraid of people's envious reactions and being shunned, that would make sense. I can see some good reasons to sabotage yourself sometimes. But if you're tired of it, if you really wish that you could get your subconscious to stop doing that, I think there's a way. And I think Robert Zink is onto it, and Aaron Dowdy is onto it. I saw a TikTok lady. I didn't see her on my TikTok. I saw her on my partner's TikTok. And she seemed also to be in this manifesting, law of attraction kind of
Take the ramp
mode.
on the right to Route 440 south toward I-287.
So I'm thinking that other people are figuring this out all over the place, that we don't have to be subject to the whims of our fearful subconscious minds, that we can be more powerful than that. Our conscious minds maybe can have a little bit of say-so in how things go in the world. Now, the knock on wood people, they're not knocking on wood because they're afraid their subconscious minds will control their own emotions or their own mental processes. What they're afraid of is that the whole universe will be subject to being foobar. And if you don't like foobar, which is basically Murphy's Law, or snafu, that also is situation normal. So if situation normal is all fucked up, you need to have a talk with yourself. Because I, for one, am not willing to accept all fucked up as the normal situation. And I've lived a lot of my life
One half
that
mile,
way.
keep right to I-95, then keep left.
It's snafu mode. I think it's time for a different way of looking at life and of experiencing life. So let's try this together. If I'm looking for situation normal, all unfucked up, would that be fucked down? I wonder why down is better than up. And not only should we be free of Murphy's meddling, we should be free of the need to worry about it, which is in some ways even worse. Always knocking on wood and waiting for the other shoe to drop. So when we expect Murphy's Law to happen, our expectations manifest themselves in negative outcomes. So we need different expectations. We need to put people in charge of our subconscious. I don't know who, in your case, but I just want one person, not a committee, and I want that person to be badass, so he doesn't take any guff. And I want that monarch of a person to put Murphy in his place. Say, Murphy, it isn't always like that. I've talked about demons before on this channel. I used to think there was a special category of demons, and there still might be, called not-so-fast demons. And the not-so-fast demons hover around anything that's worth anything, and you saunter in big, dumb, and happy, and you say, oh, by the way, that's Dave Dirksen, Sr., from University of Oregon, music education professor extraordinaire, who used to always say, big, dumb, and happy. And I've never been sad that I learned that. Anyway, so we saunter in big, dumb, and happy, and we see something that we like, and we say, hey, this is great, I'm going to enjoy this. And then the little pesky demons say, hey, not so fast, you can't just have that, you have to suffer first, or you have to work first, or you have to, whatever you have to do. And it's not true. It's not true. You can just be big, dumb, and happy and have it. You can just have it. You can tell all those little pesky guys to fuck off because you don't need them in your life. Now, maybe they aren't there. Maybe it's your subconscious that says not so fast and disguises itself as external things that get in the way. And this is another corollary to Murphy's Law, the not-so-fast law. It can't just be easy, but it can just be easy. And what you and I need to do is just claim it. Yes, it can be that easy. And we're going to make sure it's that easy. We're going to get our own self out of the way. And then if there are any demons, our self not only is out of the way, it's aligned with our intentions, with our goals and dreams. And that force is very powerful. And so if there are demons, we'll just squash them. Hey guys, sorry about that. We are going to do it so fast. Just this fast. Okay, I'm showing you this video at the end of the day after the rest of the video because I found out that I did get fired from my job at Millersville University, and I've been sorting through all that from the king perspective. Got to get my hat just right here so I look like a king. Anyway, I wanted to show you something else too. I'm sitting here at the end of the day in my truck, and now I'm going to switch the view around. This is through my windshield, where I usually sit in the morning. I'm putting my phone up where the webcam, the dash cam usually is. So you can see the 3 trucks, and then that SUV, that's exactly where it was. And I was saying that the windmills are behind the SUV. So now if that increases your faith, then you're like Thomas, and seeing you believe. But tomorrow morning, I'm going to be sitting here again, and they'll be there. So then I guess that will help our faith. You know, though, a big giant could come and swoop down and smash them to smithereens. You never know. Talk to you soon.